Five Nights at Freddy's is by far one of the most successful horror franchises in gaming history, winning dozens of games, novels, merchandise and major movies. Scott Cawthon's creation appeared unstoppable, but behind the success lies a graveyard of projects that were announced with massive hype only to vanquish into development hell. Today we are taking a look at the titles you're never meant to play, from official big budget multiplayer titles that went completely dark, highly anticipated fan remakes caught in community drama, and the moment Scott lied to the community to protect a massive secret. This is the history of the lost, cancelled and deleted Five Nights at Freddy's games. Our story begins in the summer of 2017. Anticipation for the official Five Nights at Freddy's 6 was at an all-time high. Then Scott Cawthon released a statement that shocked the community. He announced the game was officially cancelled. Scott explained that the pressure to keep topping each previous entry had caused him to neglect other important parts of his life. He stated he was stepping back to focus on what made game development fun in the first place, promising a simple free tycoon game as a casual gift to the fanbase. The community accepted the news with heavy hearts, but complete support for Scott's well-being. In December of 2017, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator launched on Steam completely free of charge. To the average player, it appeared exactly as advertised, a light-hearted, low-stake management simulator.
We are unsure of its origin.
But the moment the first night concluded, the colourful pixels glitched away. Players were suddenly thrown into a silent, claustrophobic room, facing the terrifying, ruined outer of Scrap Baby, sitting just inches away across a metal table. On the desk sat a single playing cassette recorder. Players were forced to perform high-stakes structural salvages and salvaged animatronics, checking off responses on a paper clip while listening to eerie robotic audio prompts. One wrong move, or a failure to shock the animatronic at the right time, resulted in a brutal jump scare. The community's collective jaw dropped. Within an hour of release, Steam forums and social media blew up as players realised they hadn't just downloaded a silly, light-hearted arcade game. Scott Cawthon had executed one of the most masterful narrative bait-and-switches in gaming history. The tycoon elements were actually a front for the true, incredibly difficult gameplay. By day you customised your pizzeria, bought stage equipment and managed liability lawsuits. By night you were trapped in a ventilation hub, defending yourself against the fire animatronics you salvaged, using a motion tracker, audio lures and a silent ventilation fan.
Great job. It looks like you're getting the hang of this.
This casual tycoon game wasn't just FNaF 6, it was the ground emotional finale to the original Scott Cawthon era. It brought together every lingering loose end of the lore, cultivating a legendary fiery monologue by Henry Emily that burned the original animatronics once and for all.
This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be.
It was a brilliant, triumphant moment in community history, showcasing Scott's unique relationship with his fans and love for creative secrets. But unfortunately, it also set a precedent. The community began to look at every single delay, cancellation and project shift as a hidden ARG or a clever marketing stunt. When future cancellation stories arose, there wouldn't be playful tricks. They'd be entirely real and far more devastating. In 2020, Scott Cawthon launched the Fazbear Fanverse initiative, a historic, unprecedented program where the creator officially licensed, funded and published high-quality fan-made remakes. Rather than issuing copyright strikes to his integrative community, Cawthon chose to elevate them. The crown jewel and flagship title of this initiative was Five Nights at Freddy's Plus, developed by Phil Morg, better known online as Fiznum. FNaF Plus was designed as a ground-up reimagining of the original 2014 game. The emotional campaign was legendary, utilising analog horror-style VHS teasers to capture the raw, visceral terror missing from later, more colourful mainline sequels. It wasn't just a fan game, it had a dedicated Steam page, immense industry backing, and was widely regarded as the most anticipated horror project in the community. However, mid-2023 brought a sudden catastrophic shift. Following on waves of severe community controversy surrounding the Rain DLC, Fiznum made highly controversial public statements during a livestream on social media. Backlash was immediate and intense, trying to overshadow the Fazbear brand. Within days of the fallout, Fiznum officially parted ways with the Fanverse initiative. The consequences were absolute. Almost instantly, the FNaF Plus Steam page was deleted, the trailers were unlisted, and the project was quietly shelved. Because Scott Cawthon held the legal rights to the game, it could not be finished or released by Fiznum independently. Today, FNaF Plus sits in a permanent legal and development limbo, a stark reminder of how quickly a major, highly anticipated project can disintegrate overnight. Not all lost FNaF media belongs to the distant past. In December of 2023, players noticed an incredibly strange addition to the Roblox platform. An official, fully licensed game titled Five Nights at Freddy's Survival Crew had suddenly gone live. Anticipation quickly turned into absolute confusion. The game was an unplayable mess, assets were unpolished, animations were broken, and the core gameplay loop felt deeply unfinished, feeling more like a cash grab clone than an official title. The community questioned how a multi-million-dollar franchise could even attach its name to such a broken product. Within hours, the game was scrubbed from the platform. Scott Cawthon took to Reddit to explain that there had been a catastrophic misunderstanding. He believed it was simply approving a basic character skin, but the developers interpreted disapproval as a green light to launch the entire unfinished game. Scott called it a huge blunder and promised the game would rebuild and fix. However, years have passed with nothing but radio silence, leaving this chaotic accidental premiere as one of the strangest, most embarrassing chapters in FNaF development history. To fully understand the life cycle of unreleased FNaF projects, we have to look at the incredibly fine line separating official rejection from direct copyright enforcement. Consider FNaF World, an incredibly creative fan project where players constructed mechanical self-suits out of animatronic parts in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Developers formally pitched the concept to Scott Cawthon for inclusion in the Fanverse initiative. Ultimately, Scott declined. He deemed the project too ambitious and financially risky. But rejection is not a legal cancellation. FNaF World was never shut down. It simply couldn't continue as its planned scale without Scott's official funding. On the other hand, consider FNaF Open Source, also developed by Fisna before he joined the Fanverse. This was a highly polished reimagining of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 built on entirely original assets, but with one major twist: the creator intended to release the game's entire source code for free. This immediately triggered a swift legal shutdown from Scott, because FNaF 2 was still commercially available. Releasing a superior, fully editable version for free online directly threatened the official game sales. This wasn't a friendly no thank you to a pitch, this was a direct legal and forced takedown. Ironically, it was Phil's talent on open source that convinced Scott to hire him for FNaF Plus in the first place, proving that in this franchise, a copyright strike can sometimes lead directly to a job offer. Our next game managed to achieve a full public launch, only to be entirely wiped off the internet just days later. In early 2016, Cawthon released FNaF World, a colourful turn-based RPG spin-off. It was supposed to be a fun, lighthearted break from the horror. Instead, the community reaction was immediate and deeply divided. Players heavily criticised the title for being incredibly rushed, missing basic RPG elements like 3D movement maps, and presenting an art style that felt jarringly out of place. Rather than ignoring the backlash and making excuses, Cawthon took the community's criticism entirely to heart. Just days after the launch, he made the unthinkable decision to pull FNaF World from Steam completely. He issued a public apology, admitted he had rushed the project, and instructed Valve to honour full refunds for every single buyer, regardless of how long they had played. He then spent months overhauling the mechanics, adding new surreal content, and re-released the entire game on GameJolt absolutely free. It stands as a unique legendary moment of a developer choosing to completely sacrifice a profitable launch rather than leave his audience with an inferior product. Finally, we arrive at the largest mystery of them all, the ghost in the development pipeline. Years ago, Scott Cawthon published a massive upcoming roadmap for the franchise. Tucked deep within the text was an incredibly ambitious announcement, a big budget AAA Five Nights at Freddy's multiplayer title. Scott revealed he had signed a major deal with Universal Studios to bring this multiplayer, promising a massive high production scale that would deliver exactly what fans had wanted for years. And then, the updates stopped. The progress reports grew highly vague, with Cawthon mentioning some behind the scenes studio shakeups before he took personal control of the project and pushed the timeline back. Since then, years of complete silence have passed. Some believe the project quietly evolved into the multiplayer modes of later games, while others speculate it was permanently canned behind closed studio doors when Universal's gaming division restructured. It remains the ultimate unreleased mystery of FNaF history, a ghost in the machine that we may never get to play. Ultimately, the true history of Five Nights at Freddy's isn't exclusively written in the games we can buy on Steam or console storefronts. It is deeply etched into the unreleased code, the accidental leaks, and the ambitious concepts that were simply too volatile to survive. It's ours as definitive proof that even after all these years, the franchise remains entirely unpredictable. Which of these lost projects do you wish you could have experienced the most? What would you justify to Five Nights at Freddy's Plus? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, off the script guys, we're talking from my own mind now. If you guys enjoyed this type of video, this is new to me, this is a new type of video to me, so if you guys enjoyed, let me know in the comments if you want to see more like this. If maybe it's lore, maybe it's lore you didn't know, maybe it's Easter eggs you never experienced before, let me know in the comments. It's really been a joy uploading this actually. It's been quite difficult though, there's been a few difficulties along the way, you know, getting everything timed, my voiceovers, but you know, apart from that, it was a quite fun video, so if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. We're so close to 700 subscribers, so please get me to that if you guys can. And that's all for me. It feels weird not showing my face, but that's all from me. That's all from this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.